All right, the World Cup ended a few days ago. For all of you new football fans here in America, where can you get your fix now? Well, I've got the answer, and it might sound confusing, but bear with me, and let's dive headfirst into the world that is UEFA. Welcome, guys. Well, the World Cup, football's biggest stage, just went dark. The industrial machinery of European continental club football never sleeps. Yesterday was July 20th, 2026, and the 2026-27 UEFA season was already a living, breathing monster, even before the drawing for the next qualifying round. Over 80 clubs are currently locked in a brutal summer survival test. If you think American sports playoffs are intense, wait until you see a continent-wide pyramid where losers don't go home, they fall. Welcome to what we'll call the Cascade of Football. Before a club ever touches a continental tournament like this, every country is a pyramid in their own right. Strip away the branding, and every one of UEFA's 55 members runs the same basic shape: a top flight, feeder divisions below it, and movement between them. That movement is what eventually pushes a club onto this season's Champions League stage. So you have your top flights, you have your league champions, top finishers that head on to see Europe. Your Division 2s or promotion playoffs, automatic promotions to get up there. Then you have Division 3, your regional leagues. You have your semi-pro and amateur tiers below that. And then county, district, Sunday leagues that are below that. Promoted on merit, relegated on results. Now, the mechanism, promotion and relegation, that is the key. At the end of each domestic season, the bottom clubs of a division swap places with the top clubs of the division below them, either automatically or via a playoff. This is true from England's Premier League all the way down to a regional 4th division in Kazakhstan. The payoff? Only the top flight talks to Europe. European qualification, Champions League, Europa League, Conference League is only ever earned from the top division, well, most of the time, by winning a league position, by winning your domestic cup, or occasionally by fair play ranking. Climbing the pyramid is generally the main way to get in. There's 55 members, not 55 countries. UEFA membership technically requires being geographically in Europe and being a UN-recognized independent state, except for the handful of associations grandfathered in before that second rule existed. That's how you end up with 55 members mapping on a roughly 50 sovereign European states. For example, you get 4 for the price of 1 UK. England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland each predate UEFA's 1954 founding as separate associations. As well, the Faroe Islands and Gibraltar, Faroe Islands being a Danish territory and being a member of UEFA since 1990, Gibraltar being a British territory, admitted in 2013 after a decades-long legal fight, both play despite not being independent states. Russia is currently a full UEFA member, but has been suspended from all UEFA competitions since 2022, given the war in Ukraine. No domestic league? No problem. Europe's smallest states solved the we don't have enough clubs for a league in 4 completely different ways. For example, Liechtenstein plays abroad but has their own cup. All 7 Liechtenstein clubs, including the country's best-known side, Vaduz, are entered into the Swiss Super League pyramid and are all subject to Swiss promotion and relegation. There is no Liechtenstein league at all. The one competition the Liechtenstein Football Association actually runs is the Domestic Cup. Per UEFA's current access list, the LVF Cup winner only qualifies for the Conference League, not the Champions League, regardless of how well that club is doing in the Swiss system. Now, you can have your own, tiny league and your own tiny pool. For example, San Marino, which runs its own domestic league, the Campionato Sammarinese. The champion this year, Tre Fiori, entered directly into the Champions League first qualifying round, the earliest possible entry point, reflecting the country's rock-bottom coefficient. Now, you have your own league dual track. Andorra runs its own domestic league, the Primera Divisió. This year's entrant, Interclub de Escaledas, began in the first qualifying round. Confusingly, a club like FC Andorra, the club once owned by Gerard Piqué, is a separate entity that plays in the Spanish pyramid instead. Same country, 2 totally different systems. No league, no cup, no UEFA seat. For example, Monaco. Monaco has never organized a domestic league and has never applied to join UEFA or FIFA directly as an independent football association. However, AS Monaco plays entirely inside the French football pyramid and successfully earned qualification to the UEFA Conference League for this season via their strong league placement in the French Ligue 1. Coefficients are a domestic league position that tells you who qualifies.
Ever wonder how UEFA seeding actually works? It's all about the 5-year coefficient, dragging big clubs into balanced groups, making every match count.
It decides the entry round, where the clubs from the associations with the lowest coefficient start in the first qualifying round, and seeding pots. Once in the 36-team league phase, coefficient rank club into 4 pots of 9 for the automated draw. Now, to understand European football, you have to throw out the concept of a single bracket. It's a multi-tiered ecosystem made of 3 distinct basins. At the absolute apex is the UEFA Champions League, featuring a 36-team league phase. Beneath it flows the Europa League, and beneath that, the Conference League. If you enter the Champions League qualifiers and lose, you don't pack your bags. You're poured down the pipe into Europa League. Lose there, and you drop down yet again into the Conference League. It's a safety net built out of barbed wire. That is, until you're into the Battle of the Giants, the league phase of each of these tournaments. Then once you're out, you're out. Today, we're going to look at every single one of the 81 clubs that can touch this tournament. We start with the 29 direct entrants who bypass the summer heat entirely, landing straight into the 36-team league phase. Reigning European title holders Paris Saint-Germain lead the charge out of France, flanked by its roaring Lens side that turns their home ground into a wall of sound, and a brilliantly run Lille squad. Over in England, Arsenal arrives back at the top tier, locked in alongside tactical juggernauts Manchester City, a rebuilding Manchester United, an ambitious Aston Villa, and Liverpool taking advantage of the bonus European performance spot. In Italy, Inter Milan brings their defensive masterclass backed by a passionate Napoli and a gritty Roma, but the real headline story is that out of Serie A is Como 1907, pulling off a stunning modern fairy tale to crash the top four. Spain counters with the continental royalty Barcelona, bringing truly possession-holding games. Real Madrid carrying their mythological aura, Villarreal punching above their weight, a fierce Atletico Madrid, and Real Betis snatching Spain's performance spot. Germany sends its elite vanguard, aristocratic overlords Bayern Munich, the yellow wall of Borussia Dortmund, and the fast-pressing project at RB Leipzig, and a resurgent VfB Stuttgart. Rounding out the direct entrants are Dutch heavyweights PSV Eindhoven and Feyenoord. Portugal's tactical masters Porto and academy giants Sporting CP, Belgian standard bearers Club Brugge, Czech champions Slavia Praha, the terrifying atmosphere of Turkey's Galatasaray, and the remarkably resilient Shakhtar Donetsk out of Ukraine. Next are the 10 clubs resting at the higher qualification rings, waiting for August to take their shot. 4 domestic champions enter at the playoff round. Viking FK staging a massive resurgence in Norway, AEK Athens playing out of their intense Greek fortress, Austrian disruptors LASK, and Scottish institution Celtic. Right behind them, 6 clubs entered in the third qualifying round. French heavyweights Lyon, Dutch shockers NEC Nijmegen, data-driven Belgian story Union Saint-Gilloise, Czech powerhouse Sparta Praha, Northern Norwegian phenomenon Bodo Glimt, and Greek colossus Olympiakos. Now, the July battleground. Starting today, July 21st, 14 heavyweights enter the crucible for the second qualifying round. You've got Polish giants Lech Poznan and historic rivals Górnik Zabrze, a resurgent Danish side in AGF Aarhus, Swiss Alpine contenders FC Thun, tactical Israeli champions Hapoel Beersheva, fanatical Cypriot flag bearers Omonia Nicosia, and Swedish overachievers Mjällby AIF. Joining them in tomorrow's clashes are the undisputed talent factory Dynamo Zagreb from Croatia, Serbia's immortal Red Star Belgrade, Slovakian financial heavyweights Slovan Bratislava, Slovenian disruptors NK Celje, Austrian challengers Sturm Graz, Scottish historic power Heart of Midlothian, and Turkish titan Fenerbahce, carrying massive national expectations. The summer survivors and the casualties, guys. Finally, the 28 clubs who opened the summer at the absolute bottom of the first qualifying round. 14 survived to reach tomorrow's matches, while 14 already fell and dropped down into the Conference League pipeline. Azerbaijan's Saba FC stormed through 4-1 on aggregate, knocking out Welsh semi-pro legends, the New Saints. Irish champions Shamrock Rovers advanced 5-3 in a wild tie against Malta's historic Floriana FC. Georgia's ambitious FC Iberia 1999 edged out Estonian flag bearers Tallinna FC Flora 5-4. Gibraltar part-timers, the Lincoln Red Imps, pulled off a 4-2 triumph over Andorran regulars Interclub d'Escaledas. Northern Ireland's Larne FC handled business 3-1 against San Marino champions Tre Fiori. Armenia's FC Ararat Armenia earned a gritty 4-3 victory over Latvia's Riga FC. Finland's Kups Kuopio needed extra time drama to survive the 4-3 win against North Macedonia heavyweights FK Vardar. Lithuania's Kauno Žalgiris pushed past Kosovan champions FC Drita in a 4-3 thriller. Romania's Universitatea Craiova dominated Belarusian side ML Vitebsk 5-1. Albanian disruptors KF Ignatia put on a masterclass, crushing Moldova's Petro Club Hinchesti 7-2. Bulgarian Titans Levski Sofia comfortably swept past Bosnia's Borac Banja Luka 5-1. Iceland's Viking Reykjavik held on for a 3-2 win over Hungarian traditional side Etogjor. Kazakhstan power Kairat Almaty secured a 4-1 smooth victory against Montenegro's Suteska Nishik. And the island giant killers Keflavík out of the Faroe Islands kept their European dream alive with a 4-2 win over Luxembourg's Atert Bisen. 81 clubs mapped out, guys. Every champion, every runner-up, every summer survivor, and every team dropped into the lower net. Now, what happened to the rest of the top divisions? When the dust settles on domestic leagues, the ripple effect sorts everyone else into the Europa League and the Conference League basins. For example, England, its Premier League teams finishing right below the top 5, such as Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, and Sunderland, stepped directly into the Europa League, while Brighton and Hove Albion secured qualification for the Conference League. With the romantic centerpieces of the entire block, the second-tier cup Cinderellas. These are the knockout legends who earned a golden ticket straight into Europe despite playing outside their nation's primary top league. Portugal's Torrents leads the charge as stunning domestic cup winners, punching a direct ticket straight into Europa League phase. Norway's Lillestrøm steps up to hold a line in the playoff round, matched by Iceland's inspiring Vestri, taking their Northern Ireland grit into the first qualifying round, and iconic FC Vaduz out of Liechtenstein maintaining their complete iron grip on their local cub system to book their spot. That's the full map drawn. The industrial engine of the European summer is officially running at maximum capacity. So, from tiny part-timers in Gibraltar to Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, and incredible Cinderellas like Torrents, Lillestrøm, Vestri, and FC Vaduz, this is the sheer scale of European football. Every single one of them is fighting to reach the Metropolitano Stadium in Madrid on June 5th, 2027. Or Stadion Frankfurt on Wednesday, May 26th, 2027. Or Besiktas Stadium in Istanbul, Turkey on June 2nd of 2027. There we go, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next time for another UEFA video.